Hey folks, welcome to episode 7 of the F1 GridView. On this episode, we'll be reviewing the Qatar Grand Prix that was held on the 21st of November 2021. You have your host Harsh Sangvi and there's Mihika right here with us. Hi Mihika.
Hi.
How was the race? How would you describe the race? How would you describe the new track?
The track was good.
Yeah,
The race was decent. Like, it wasn't like amazing, but
correct.
it wasn't bad.
Uh, I had really less expectations coming from a MotoGP track. I don't think there was a chance of
Yeah,
overtakes and stuff, but they did prove us wrong. There were some really nice overtakes through the whole race,
yeah.
and
That day
pleasantly
was good.
surprised. Yeah, pleasantly surprised with that. And before you all start wondering, we're just very sad that the whole triple header is gone with McLaren just scoring 4 points. So just as a show of love, we're wrapping our McLaren t-shirts.
Yeah.
Uh,
In a
so
red, which is like a Ferrari color. Harsh,
I
what is this?
mean, I mean it's okay. They messed up. It's fine. It's still McLaren at the end of it. It's still Daniel and Lando doing a shoey. So uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So coming back to the race, uh, a very good start for Mercedes, I would say. They did lead the qualifications and sorry, a free practice, and they had a really good quali also.
Yeah.
Um, how I'm a little disappointed because I was so happy with sprint quali. Going back to the normal quali just seemed like a very slow Friday to me. And yeah, I missed the quali action on the Friday. So yeah, so we'll just start with our qualifying classifications if we go through. Uh, Q1 was really as expected. You had Kimi, Nikki, Gio, Mick, and Mazepin getting out of that. I felt really bad for Mazepin. He didn't have any practice in FP1, FP2, FP3, and
Yeah.
just coming out
I
there
think
and
he did go for FP1.
he did go for
FP2
FP1.
was
Sorry, yeah,
problems
FP2
came.
was he didn't start, and FP3 just before he
Yeah.
started the engine failed, so there were some issues with the car, so he didn't take part in that. But he was 2 seconds off the pace from Schumacher also, so that did show the lack of practice there. And yeah, you had your usual suspects out. But where it got interesting was Q2. You had some big heavy hitters out in Q2.
I was expecting Charles and George to go to Q3 at least.
Yeah,
Daniel has been, and even Perez, Daniel has been a little down since a while. So I
correct.
wasn't expecting him to enter Q3. But like Charles, Perez, George, they were like expected.
That's correct. Uh, Charles did manage to tell us that they did have something wrong with his engine. So that was that. There was repeated radio calls or messages you could hear through saying that I don't know where I'm losing my time. I really don't know what's going wrong. I'm doing my best. The car's performing well. I really don't know where I'm losing the 10th or whatever the time he was losing. So actually, it was really surprising coming from a driver like that and so honest and so frank. Um, you had Sergio at P10 who just got knocked out, and
Yeah,
that made Q1 really interesting. A team which had a really good Q1 was Alpine. I thought like they did really well with getting Fernando and Esteban in the start. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry, you were saying something?
yeah. They did really amazing in the in the qualies.
Yeah, they really did. Um, Other than that, the incident that most people had issues with was Pierre Gasly. Uh, Stopping in the straight at the end of the pit at the end of the starting uh, so he just the his tire got caught, his front wing got caught up in the tire and the tire blew up, and at the pit straight his car just came to a halt. Something I really didn't understand was why it took so long to get a yellow flag out. The marshal was actually pretty good who did start waving the double yellow flags, but the indicators I was still blinking green and not yellow at that point. And it is really dangerous. You would take a turn and you would get into the pit straight, and you have a car that is
Yeah,
just stopped
that
there.
is what costed Max Verstappen his penalties.
Definitely. And his time, I thought he could have definitely improved, but from his P2, I don't think he had that time to beat Lewis, but I definitely
Yeah,
thought he could improve the time that he was going, and I thought Bottas also as well could have done that. So yeah, Gasly just stopping unexpectedly did ruin that for them, and a lot of penalties did come out of that. I really, if you see the onboard from Max's view, it's a very small marshal, just a single marshal waving double yellow flags, and there's a green light still blinking, which says you're okay to race, you're okay to go full throttle. But yeah, when the yellow flag is out, there is going to be no other. A penalty is going to be a penalty if you don't respect the yellow flags. So he got a penalty. So did Valtteri. What did you think about the penalties that were just getting carry forwarded from last week? Like the FIA, once Mercedes had Max's on board from Brazil, they did say that he did try to cut into Lewis and put him off the track, and they did appeal it, but the FIA took way too long, in my opinion.
Yeah, it wasn't like, I feel they could have done it faster.
Yeah, like I don't understand in which sport do you go home and wait weeks and then you think, oh, the result might change now, might not change. There's never a football game you're going to watch, and after the end of 90 minutes or 100 minutes or whatever you have to pay extra time, also you're not going to know who won the game. So that was, I think, really sad from the stewards' part. They were, and the quality of stewarding has not been up to the mark, I would say, this year. But yeah, taking way too long for getting the yellow flags out, and this is definitely dangerous. I remember the same thing happening with Max and Baku. He stopped in the pit straight again there when his tire blew up, and that was a really fast pit straight. And he was walking around, he was walking by, and something dangerous could have happened, and they took too long to get the yellow flags out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my rant. Sorry. Yeah, I really don't think the stewarding has been up to the mark this year, and even the camera work. I think the camera work was really shoddy. There were some really good overtakes happening in the race, and they were just cutting out to the stadium to see the fans.
They've been doing that all along. Like,
yeah, I understand y'all are happy that the fans are back in the stadium and like they're back at the track, but
fans weren't there.
Can't. There were 8,000 fans. They kept cutting to them.
I'm talking about even when, like, in the races when the fans weren't there, they were showing useless stuff. Like, not useless exactly, but like,
yeah,
if there are more overtakes
not...
you shouldn't throw some nonsense.
Correct. You definitely don't cut into the live things that are happening on track.
Yeah.
Fernando had one of his better qualifications, qualifying P5. I think Lando did a fantastic job. I don't think the car was P6 by any stretch of the imagination, but he did manage to put it there. So
yeah,
very happy with that. So yeah, you had Bottas and Banks getting grid penalties. So your starting grid did look like Lewis, Bottas, and Alonso, which I was really excited for, especially with all the starts Alonso's making this season, and has always made. If you followed him back in the day with Renault, his starts are absolutely fantastic, and I did think he could actually take the first place by the end of the first turn. Yeah. But yeah, no. Gasly got a very good slipstream starting the race, and he did manage to keep Alonso behind him. So yeah, we'll just move on to the latest classification. Yeah, take it away.
Hamilton.
Tell us what you thought about it.
I mean, I'm very happy for Alonso.
Yeah, same.
And I am very happy that the competition has been going neck to neck. Yeah. But I really want Verstappen to win at this point.
I don't see that happening at all. Like, I'm sorry, but like it is. I think it's gonna be Lewis. It is gonna be Lewis. I've read a couple of very interesting theories, which just says that Mercedes spent 8 months just sandbagging and not showing their real pace, just so that Red Bull could not give that time or invest in the next year's car and just put everything in this year's car to make Max win, and then they would come up at the end just with a couple of engine changes and just run through it and win all the races. So that was a very yeah, that is a very there is a very stupid conspiracy theory there, which will just one of the two Red Bulls or the two Alpha Tauris has to touch Lewis's car, and he will get disqualified if he DNFs. There is no chance he can
But
stay in this
Schumacher
competition.
can do the deal.
Oh yes. How can we forget the prodigal
It's like
son?
it's 5 against 2
One.
Mercedes.
I do
Yeah,
not
one.
think
I
Bottas
mean,
has anything
Bottas
to
is
do
not
with
even
this.
helping them.
Yeah. I mean, they are not
So,
helping Bottas as well. Like
yeah,
they aren't doing anything. Uh,
yeah. It's like
yeah,
5 against 1. And okay, let's not count Verstappen. He has to focus on other things. It's 4 to
exactly.
1.
Yeah, fair enough. Uh,
Yeah,
Alonso just got saved by the VSC, the virtual safety car coming at the right time, not needing Alonso to push further. Latifi's car not being able to finish the game, and that causing the VSC to come out, and he just kept Perez. That was a lucky break because Perez had
yeah.
just changed for faster tires and new tires, and I really thought it could have been.
It helped him.
Yeah, it definitely was his, but no, they did manage to keep him behind. So that was that. I was very
Yeah,
happy. I was very happy for Lance. He had his best finish of the season. P6,
yeah.
Aston Martin's second car with Sebastian finishing P10. There was this clip I think Aston Martin F1 uploaded on their Instagram page where you just see Lawrence coming in hugging Lance, and that was just so sweet because the kids had it rough this year. He's really had it rough, and
I just have a friend who just started Drive to Survive, and all his opinion is daddy's money, daddy's money.
oh
And
no.
like, I just don't know what to tell.
I mean, yeah, that's how he started, but his
Yeah.
his qualifying in Turkey last year, his drives
Him
last year had been really good.
in most of the wet races, like at least the
Yeah,
qualifying parts.
yeah, he does really well. But this year has been a struggle, not just for him, for Vettel too. As such, the car has not lived up to the all the hype it had last year. There's the pink Mercedes, but yeah, they've done
Yeah.
well. Vettel's got a couple of podiums, got one snatched off him, but they've still done well and they've still stuck through. So a very surprising name in the list I have is Pierre Gasly finishing 11th. I have no clue how that happened starting from P2, but
Yeah.
this was not a good track for the Alpha Tauri.
He could have at least finished in points starting P2.
Yeah,
If I see that the battle ahead was pretty strong with Verstappen, Bottas trying to come ahead. Even though Bottas got a DNF, there was Perez who came down from all the way from P11 to P4. But
yeah,
Gasly could have at least reached in points if nothing.
definitely. Yeah, it was really sad and shocking. What do you think about the heartbreak that was McLaren with both the cars
They
just
have scored as many points as Alfa Romeo this whole triple header.
yeah, which is
Both of them have
disappointing in
scored
itself.
4 points.
So I really don't. Okay, I have another rant. I don't really understand the point of teams like teams like McLaren and Mercedes blaming the tires because before the race, this is the first time everybody's been at this track. Before the race,
Yeah.
Pirelli did come out and say that we do not recommend a one-stop strategy. We will at least, it is a two-stopper. It will be a two-stopper. And after that, if you're still managing to stretch your tires for 34, 35, and not listening to the only tire supplier in the sport since 8 or 9 years at this point.
Yeah, and they know more than a thing or two. They know their
Definitely.
tires pretty well. They know how to go about it.
And if they've said a couple, you will need 2 pit stops at the bare
yeah,
minimum. How do
and we
you
saw
manage to
how
push?
the pushing the tires ended up. Like
Yeah,
Bottas having a puncture. Again, Latifi got a puncture.
exactly.
It was,
It just didn't make sense.
and I saw one of the other videos. It showed that they had a lot of graining. Like,
Yeah, Alonso's tires were dead at the end of it. He had a one-stopper. Both the Alpines had a one-stopper, and they just managed to survive, and that too because of the virtual safety car. And yeah, if your tire manufacturer is saying that it's not going to be a one stopper, and if you still carry a one stopper, which is not wrong, you are allowed to do that. But then just coming on air on interviews and blaming them, it didn't sit right with me. So
Yeah.
the second thing was how stupid was Daniel's whole scenario with his fuel saving. Uh, as some of you might have heard in the post race interview, he does come out and say that as soon as he started the formation lap, in the first lap there was a low fuel sign flashing, and when he spoke to the engineers, he thought it might just be something wrong with the engine because they've just started the race. How can it be low fuel? And as soon as he started the second lap, they told him, no, this might actually be true, you'll have to start saving fuel. So he was not allowed to push. He was 2 seconds slower than everybody, and in the middle of the race, in the 44th lap out of 57, they tell him, oh no, that's totally wrong, it's just an engine fault, you have a lot of fuel yourself, go ahead, push. And he was P14, 15 there. He did try and get himself to P12, but that was a horrendous
At that
weekend for
point, I
McLaren.
don't think he could have done much.
Of course
Like,
not. He was going 2 seconds slower per lap from Hamilton.
looking at the people ahead of him, like all of them were pretty good. So even
Yeah,
if he would have tried to push, he wouldn't have done much at that point. And if you take
definitely.
34 laps to realize that all you had was like a problem in your
Indicator, not the
software
fuel. Yeah,
indicators, that's just stupid. Like, how?
yeah. That was I like the McLaren fan in us. I can see us getting irritated as hell. But yeah, Ferrari had a very good race, very strong. Strong. I
They
am
didn't
very
have a good
surprised with how
quality.
well. Yes, I'm really surprised with how well Carlos has been doing over Charles, though. Like he's been really strong the last couple of
Really
weeks.
good. And Carlos has always been in the shadows, so you can't
Yeah,
blame him.
yeah,
All two of his podiums are because someone else retired or
got a
someone
penalty.
else had an issue or a penalty later on.
Yeah, so yeah, I get that. Uh, the race, uh, the race did actually have was good fun. I thought I was not expecting so many overtakes. The way Verstappen just came at the start and started overtaking everybody, and not everybody.
Yeah.
Gasly did move aside to let him through. So did Fernando actually. But yeah, Fernando and Gasly do realize it's not their battle. It's not. It's not their battle to stop. They always know that Max is in a faster car, and he's a very aggressive driver. You don't need anybody to tell you that. And if he does try and move and it does go wrong, um, it's gonna lose everything for you. Uh,
And like if Fernando would have tried to push harder, all that would have happened was gone off
yeah,
track.
yeah, that's true. And
And
his
we're
tires
still
would have got just got worse. Haven't we seen that multiple times? He was 104 races since his podium back in Hungary
yeah.
2017, which is a big deal for Fernando Alonso. Uh, so yeah, very happy he did get the podium. Uh, yeah, so a very interesting thing I did notice was Ferrari and Red Bull have, it's a very small thing, but they have just stopped pulling the rope in and letting them out of the pit stop in a better way. They have stopped doing that. So as a courtesy in the pit lane, whenever a car is passing through, you do normally pull your ropes back to help the driver have more space to go through. But there are these clear images the where the Red Bull is coming out of the
Yeah.
pits, and
Yeah.
Mercedes men are just standing there, not pulling the rope, and uh, Red Bull doing the same to Mercedes as well. So yeah, there is a lot of love lost there, and I think there is everything is on the table now for this championship battle, even the constructors battle, because that's how close it's got.
It's gone pretty close. Let's
Yeah,
go to the championship battle
sure,
first.
sure.
Okay, first pit stops.
Oh yes, there were some really interesting pit stops. Uh, yeah, I'm still very mad with the teams not realizing. Of course, Pirelli does know better. If they say it's not going to be a one stop, why would you push your tires? A person like Checo also, who's known for his tire management, couldn't make it last. So you just have to see how the others did. And Alonso and Ocon were just saved by the VSC. If they were pushing in the last 4 laps as well, I don't know what puncture they could have got. His P3
Yeah.
spot could have become a P10, P11 very easily. So,
Or,
yeah,
I mean, if at all puncture and DNF, that would have
DNF.
been like no points even after a really good weekend.
Yeah, but I get where Alpine is coming from. They didn't have a lot to lose. They were at similar spots with AlphaTauri, and AlphaTauri really looked to be out of the points. So they thought might as well push and get a big haul of points, which they did. They got 25 points. Where
That's really,
Yeah, so I get where they're coming from, but yeah, if I was Max or Lewis, I would definitely not be
but like
trying a one-stopper.
even, even Ferrari was trying to push. So did
Yeah,
Vettel,
yeah,
Ricardo,
yeah.
even
So
Mazepin, even
yeah,
Schumacher.
a lot of people did successfully do the one-stopper,
Yeah.
but they didn't have a lot at stake. And if you don't have a lot at stake and it is going to be a risk and reward situation. If you're going to take the risk, there uh, there is a reward also, but there is also the chance of you losing your
Yeah.
tires. But coming into the press conference and just crying that the tires didn't hold up, and I thought that was the bad part. I didn't think it was the bad part that they did try the one-stopper. Of course, you're allowed. Ocon did make it without any stops a couple of races back. So yeah,
He fought like
sorry,
a lion.
he did not actually. He did
That was
not.
all
Perez,
sarcasm.
Perez went through, but yeah, but he had a faster car. Perez was on better tires, so I did not expect Ocon to. But
Yeah.
I really loved how Ocon did come back for the fight, and
But
Perez
like
realized he's not
I've been
going to leave him.
I've been really loving the memes for it. The cat with the lion face, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, but
There was
Alonso
another meme
just,
for Bottas's puncture. That
which was,
Hamilton's dog bit it.
of course, Hamilton has something to lose there if Bottas wins. There's no chance Bottas is taking. Bottas has been really bad at race starts, like really bad this season. He's lost positions. He's crashed into cars. He's not really had a good time starting the race in this season. So that's something he will have to see next year with his Alfa Romeo and how good that car does in qualies to
And,
get him started.
I mean, Alfa Romeo is not going to be as good as second car of Mercedes.
For sure.
So
You
it's
never
just
know
going to
though.
be,
It's 2022.
yeah, actually, yeah, I'm kind of excited for the new rules and regulations.
Yeah. A lot of teams I do think could have a very good chance of coming back.
Yeah, and which is
So you
why
never know.
happen your only chance. Please do it.
Exactly. Please do it. Or Yuki just crash into him, please. Or into Lewis.
Yeah, I feel even if Yuki doesn't, Schumacher will.
He's not gonna do that. He's too good a
No,
boy for that.
I've been seeing so many memes. I've been getting them a lot for Schumacher running into Verstappen, and I'm like, yeah, that's gonna happen for sure.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. A
And
very
then actually, Haas would have a lot of problems. They don't have money to, have a proper car right now.
have
Then the
another
damage.
tractor, you mean? A tractor? Sorry, do you say tractor? Oh, I heard you say car. You mean tractor,
I
right?
said, I'm just saying that the damage expenses would be very high for them.
For that tractor. Yeah, that's fair. Actually. Sorry, coming back to the construct to the
Drivers.
championship points. Yes, drivers championship points.
Okay.
Oh, that is your this is your pit stops. So that's how quick your pit stops were. Ferrari did manage to actually pull these 2.29s and 2.24 as a double stack, which was
Yeah,
very, very
that was
impressive.
really cool. Yeah.
Which was very impressive. I saw it in real time and I was like, wow, you all really did it. Like that was really good. So yeah, some good pit stops. I'm happy to see McLaren is back in there because they've had really shoddy pit stops of late. And
Yeah.
Red Bull, as usual, is gonna
We've
be.
seen them mess up Ricardo's pit stops a lot.
Yeah, I think that's just you personally just focusing on that one thing. But yeah, they've been slow with Norris and Ricardo both. So
But slower
yeah,
with Ricardo. I'm not just
of course.
focusing on one. It is facts.
Sure.
I'm just pointing facts.
Sure you are. Moving on. The drivers' championship points. Uh, yeah, there's a good lead for Max, but it's not too much that I would be comfortable right now,
7
because you never
points.
know. Yeah, you never know what's happening. It's
Big
one's going to be.
ones.
It's just two races, and it's too difficult to call.
But like again, if one Lewis doesn't win and Max wins, it's over for Lewis.
Yeah, that's actually very true. Uh,
Yeah.
Another thing I was just seeing, out of the 23 drivers, 21 drivers we've had this year, 13 of them have managed to get onto the podium with Alonso this time. So it's a
Wow.
pretty strong uh, season that we've had this year, and
That's really
there's been a
cool.
huh?
That's really cool.
Yeah, actually, who are these guys who haven't made it? Mick hasn't
Nick
made it.
managed- I
Has
think
been
Yuki.
Yuki, then both the Alfa Romeos. Latifi hasn't made it. Robert Kubica obviously didn't make it. Uh,
How both Alfa Romeos? Kimi?
yeah, Kimi also, no? Kimi and Gio didn't make
Never?
it. Nope, not this year.
Okay, wait. You're talking about this year?
Yeah, this year. This year, 13 out of the 23 have made the podiums this year. 21 have made the podiums this year.
Yeah. Sorry,
So,
I heard it differently. Yeah.
no,
So
no. It's that's what I'm saying. From coming from years that haven't been competitive at
yeah.
all, to having 13 people to make it to
And
the podium is
this
actually
is
very
a very
strong.
competitive year. I'm really
Yeah,
liking.
yeah. And hopefully next year is only going to get better. So can't wait for
Yeah.
that. And yeah, coming back to the championship points, uh, really surprised with how Norris has been performing. No, sorry, just if we could just stay there for a second, how Norris has been performing. Uh, Not got too many points and
Now
is
I
got
feel
slower.
in no time Charles is gonna be ahead of him.
Charles and Carlos both. Like he's gonna
Both.
slip from. He was
Yeah.
P3 and we were just so happy with his P3 for so long. He was keeping Bottas at bay to now just coming down to P6 or P7. Uh, it's not gonna be a good. That
Yeah.
just tells you how bad the last couple of months, the last 1 month, 1.5 month has been for McLaren. Uh, yeah, coming back to the championship, McLaren has taken a solid beating, and they are
Yeah.
like almost 41 points behind Ferrari, which I don't see a
I
way they're
mean
gonna
now
come
there's
back.
no way McLaren can come back.
Yeah, if if they get a 1-2 and if Ferrari gets a DNF,
That's not happening. That's definitely not happening anymore.
okay, fine. Uh,
Just think Red Bull would have a DNF for that.
Max and Lewis will crash into each other at Dubai in the final race, because
Yeah.
I don't think it's
And
anything you can laugh at. If the points stay with a 4 point gap or 5 point gap, I definitely can
and I'm,
foresee
I'm gonna be more than
Max.
happy for that.
Yeah,
I'm
if
gonna
it's
be
4 or 5 points,
more than
championships have been decided more than 3-4 times with the championship rival crashing into
yeah.
each other in the final race. So if they are 4 points ahead, there is no
It's
way
gonna be fun.
Max is not going to crash into it. Then because the constructors championship is also so close, so Perez also goes crashing into Bottas, so both of them are out.
No, but then
Ferraris are really
see,
slow.
now
McLaren make it
AlphaTauri
1-2.
AlphaTauri is anyway not gonna make it up. So they wouldn't
Yeah,
make Perez crash into Bottas. They would make one of the AlphaTauris crash into Bottas, get 2
yeah, but that will also
points.
take out Perez in the same turn. I mean, there's
No,
too many hypotheticals I'm throwing out there, but just go with it. 1-2 for McLaren. Ferraris don't finish. Don't.
you're just being optimistic, Harsh,
I can try. Uh, that's all I can
and
do.
fail.
I am supporting Ferrari as well if it's not very clear. So yeah.
That's
Uh,
not my fault. You know that.
yeah. So Ferrari has taken a good lead. Alpine had a really strong weekend. So they've got 25 points from both the drivers, whereas
Yeah,
AlphaTauri didn't have even one. So they've got a 25-point lead now. Mercedes has a 5-point lead from Red Bull. So they've done pretty well as well. So
yeah,
very happy with the team standings, and I think Mercedes will just be happy that they've just managed to do it with Bottas DNF. And yeah, that
I
is
feel
actually
Red Bull I mean, as long as Max wins, I'm
Yeah.
okay with Mercedes getting the championship. But I feel if Max wins, then Red Bull would get more points than Mercedes. So they
Yeah.
would win the championship. But as long as Max wins, it's okay.
Sure. Let's hope for that. Let's hope for that. I just don't know. We can wait and watch. That's all we can do, I think, at this point. Yeah.
But another thing is going into the next race weekend, a lot of drivers don't want to go.
Oh yes. Oh yes. They have, a lot of them have shown
Yeah, and I mean,
their
it is
displeasure to
only
go to Saudi.
right what they are saying because we've seen them the whole year. In fact, Lewis going up for Black Lives Matter last year, also
For the
LGBT.
LGBTQ.
It's just, I mean, and
This is
we've
everything
seen
they
all
stand
along.
against.
Yeah, we've seen all along. F1 has been going into a lot of places where most of the
Where there's
yeah.
money, there's F1. Where there's money, there's my F1 apparently. So yeah,
And I'm just waiting to see how that turns out
yeah,
because
that's good. That's gonna be very interesting. If Lewis has a similar race helmet, I think that's gonna make for some really interesting turn of events in Saudi the week after. Yeah. Sorry, coming back to our race and coming back to the next slide. I think we are in the final segment. Oh no, we do have overtakes left.
yes.
Fernando Alonso. I love this. I just love it. Like they're Fernando, Sebastian, and Kimi, just those three old racers at 1, 2, and 3. I mean old in terms of experience, not old in terms of age, but age also. Now you can't blame me for that. Uh, yeah, 116, 115, 115. I just love it. Like,
That's really
I,
good.
yeah,
Like,
I mean they don't qualify well, but they do come back and they are very strong with the race pace. So I think that's very
that
good.
is
I
what
think
it's
Fernando will.
must be.
Yeah, exactly. Even if your car is not as good to do a
We
single
saw
lap.
Perez this time.
Oh
Perez
yes,
trying to go ahead of Vettel, and then it was just too beautiful to watch.
yeah, that dummy didn't work. That dummy didn't work.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, yeah, very. I am even how old they get, the experience does clearly show if they aren't good at the single lap pace. The race pace is fantastic. The skill is beautiful, and they do manage to get these overtakes done. So yeah,
But even Lance's spots, that is like
yeah.
really good.
And not by a margin, not by a pretty long margin. But that just shows you Lance and Perez. Uh, they don't. Perez, in fact, has a good car, but hasn't been doing well in quali. So that's where that's where these overtakes do come. But Lance has not had a car that good he had last year. So yeah, you can understand where his qualifying are also coming through.
Yeah.
So yeah, coming back to our coming back to our favorite segment of the podcast, we have our race reviews. Again, like last time, we will be reviewing the drivers on all basis of the qualifyings and on basis of the race. So let's start. We start from the bottom as usual. Valtteri.
Okay. Valtteri had a decent race weekend, but a bad race towards the end.
Correct.
So I'm gonna give like a 7.5, 8.
No, that's too high. That's too high for somebody who got a DNF who couldn't help with points.
Yeah, but then
I was thinking a 5.5, 6, because it is his call also. He does see how the tires are degrading. I understand it went out without a puncture, but you can't just stay out on tires and just
I
hope
think
to
I think a
sail through.
6.5 makes more sense now.
Yeah, I think a 6.5 is good enough. Latifi didn't have a very good quali, struggled in the race towards the end with the tires. I think a 5.5, 4, yeah, 4.5 is I think suffice. Uh, Mazepin, I would say 5 just because he didn't have any experience and he just managed to make it with one. He didn't manage to make his tires last. He pulled off a one stopper. So yeah, I think a 5 for Mazepin. Russell had a very poor weekend. He didn't do
4.5.
great. No, he got beaten by a Haas. Tractor beat him. I think a 3.
Like
This is
4.
another a 3 or a half,
Yeah.
4. Okay, I'll just
Three
be
makes
lenient. You
3
can't
makes
get
sense.
you can't get overtaken by a tractor.
He didn't even get into Q3.
Yeah, he didn't
3
even get
makes
into
sense.
Q3, which is his normal Mr. Saturday. But yeah, I think a 3, 3.5, 4. Schumacher, I think it's a 5. Definitely a
Yeah.
5. Qualified
Oh,
well.
overtaking Williams.
Yeah, just for overtaking Williams. But also a minus half point because he did give me that scare of taking from Alonso's point. He just came out of his of the pit lane and just almost crashed into Alonso. Alonso was good
So
enough to save
4.5.
himself. So a 4.5 for Schumacher. Uh, Gio and uh, Gio and Kimi didn't have very good races. Didn't have a bad race. They were
Yeah.
very mediocre. So a 5. Uh,
Yeah.
Yuki was bad. I thought Yuki didn't do a great quali. Where Gasly did finish at P3. Yuki
Yeah.
was not
P4.
great. Yeah, P4. Sorry, Yuki was not great. So I think a 5.5, 6, 5,
Yeah,
5,
I
5.
think they're rating most of the drivers very low this time because
Yeah, I
it's
didn't see that. I didn't see
I feel
how
it's also because it's a new track, I feel.
that's true actually. But that's a new track for everybody. It's the
Yeah,
experience will always show through, but it's still a new track for
right,
everybody. So yeah.
right.
Okay, so 5
Okay.
I think for Yuki. Daniel, I
Ricardo.
don't really know. He had a poor quali. He
Yeah.
It was not completely his fault that the race got messed
4.5.
up.
So
I think
yeah,
a
so like
5.
4 point yeah, 4.55-ish.
Yeah, he had a poor quali, but the race was completely not his fault. I did think he could overtake,
Yeah.
but when you're told to go 2 seconds slower than the race leader, it just is not
And
going
then
to.
it becomes
Your
pretty
tires,
difficult for you.
yeah, his tires started getting cold, his brakes started getting cold. There was no point of him pushing and getting through anything.
Right.
Pierre had a really strong quali.
He had a
Uh,
really good quali, but again his race wasn't good.
yeah,
So
a 6.
yeah.
Yeah, a 6 is, I think 6 does. Vettel
But
was P17 at the end of the first lap. Like he got caught because of Bottas' slow start and everybody else not doing well, and he still managed to salvage 1 pointer from his P17 at the end of the first lap. So I think a 7 is where I would give Vettel.
then overall his weekend wasn't that great. So
I agree, but
0.5.
for me, yeah, 6.57 could work actually. But he did manage to salvage that 1 point, which I thought was actually really impressive. So
Yeah, it was. It
yeah.
was.
Norris.
Norris.
Norris
I was surprised by his weekend.
had a great
Yeah.
quali, I thought. This car was definitely not P6 where he put the car, and he did manage to stay out and
7.5.
I think a 6.57 would suffice him as well,
Yeah.
because they did really struggle on the tires. If they didn't manage to get the tires right, I think he could have been a P4 or P5. So
Yeah.
that the Ferraris were really
Yeah.
strong, were very quiet, qualified well,
Both,
did well the
both
race.
I feel would get the
A
similar
7,
point.
yeah, I think both are a 7, 7.5, which I think
Yeah,
was.
but then Charles came up from
Oh
not
yes,
Q2. So
yes,
I feel I want to like reduce a point for not being like
up
able
into
to
Q.
reach Q3. But then
Yeah,
again he overtook, so he gets that.
fair.
Yeah, Stroll.
Lance,
Uh,
I they didn't
best
have
finish.
his best finish of the season, but he didn't have a good quali.
Yeah.
But I would strongly say a 7.5 is what he deserves, because
Yeah.
P6 is no laughing matter in a track you've not raced before at a
Yeah.
age like that. So yeah,
Ocon.
Ocon was actually really good. He had a good quali, he had a good race, he did manage to defend like a lion. So
I was just gonna say I want to give him an extra point for defending like a lion.
a 7.5, I think.
Yeah.
7.5.
Yeah.
Perez.
Whereas he had a pretty bad quali comparatively, but reached P4, so I would want to give an 8.
Yeah, I think that was I think I will go with that too. Alonso.
Yeah. Alonso, I'm just gonna say 8.5 because his weekend was really good. getting a podium after so long, it's all like really
The L
nice.
plan worked. The L plan worked. And yeah, the
But
VSC did actually save him, but it was a solid drive. An 8.5 is something I think I will give him. Max.
decent race,
Good
getting a
race, very good quali also. Just the
yeah.
not being able to see the double
I
waving
think
yellow flags.
not installed completely. It
Yeah,
might be a little bit, but not completely. So I'm not gonna say anything. Like I'm not gonna deduct anything for that.
correct. I think
So
a solid 9, and he did manage to pit in the end because he knew he had a big gap to Alonso. He
yeah,
did
he
manage
could
to
have
pit in the end and get the fastest lap also. So
Hamilton.
yeah, uh, I think a solid 9 and 9.5. Didn't do much
Nice.
wrong. Left. I
I
just read the
think
stat. It's been 29 races since he started lap 1 at the first place and led through the entire race. And when would you think that it would be
yeah.
29
I
races
mean,
for Mercedes to
I was
come back
just
and do that?
seeing. Yeah, I was just seeing. You know how he usually just swoops in the last minute and gets
Yeah,
it all.
yeah.
And
But
this time he led it all along, and it
this
was.
was a completely 2018 Mercedes
I
or
feel that was
2019
again
Mercedes.
because everyone had such huge gaps.
True, very
The
true.
circuit was such that everyone was having such long gaps between each other.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
So I think a
I
9.5. Yeah.
no, from me.
Uh, I'm very excited for Jeddah, to be really honest. The circuit looks very quick. I
Yeah,
am a little skeptic. There is no runoff area, so it's such high speeds like Baku. If you do something wrong and if you mess up a little bit, you're going to be in the
we saw
wall, and
how
that's
that
going to be
happened.
yeah, you're going to be in the wall, and that's not going to be actually fun. So I'm a little worried for their safety, but I'm sure F1 has proper precautions in place, and the drivers are going to be aware of how dangerous it is. So very excited where this championship battle goes. I am just going to keep saying I am secretly hoping Hamilton does take this. Uh, but yeah, let's just wait and watch.
Yes.
Uh, okay, that's it from this episode of the F1 GridView, guys. We'll see you next week where we will be discussing something really cool, and we will also be previewing the Saudi race week. So see you next week. Bye bye. Bye,
Bye.
Mika. Bye.